Let's just have a quick talk on one of the stories about the Lord Buddha. And one thing about this prayer that I personally really like, it helps explain a lot of things that happen in people's lives. All right? Anyway, the story goes something like this. There was this man crossing a bridge. The bridge collapsed. He fell, then he died. So somebody asked the Lord Buddha, why did this person die? The Lord Buddha said, in order to understand why, you have to understand cause, C-A-U-S-E, and condition, C-O-N-D-I-T-I-O-N, causes and conditions. He said the conditions were the bridge was weak, the pillars are weak, the current was strong. So when the bridge collapsed, when the person happened to be there, he fell, he died. So the question is, well, there's so many people who crossed the bridge. Of all the people that crossed the bridge, why him? Why was he the only one who died? How come the other people who crossed, why was he the wrong person at the wrong time? Actually, that's when the Lord Buddha said, you see, that's where the cause and the conditions come in. The conditions that were present were the bridge, the strong current, the weak beams, the dilapidated wood. Then the cause would be this person was the only person of all the people who crossed the bridge that actually carries the karmic seed from the past. So he's done this to other people before, he's caused harm to other people before. So by the time you add the karmic seed and the proper conditions, something manifests. So, if you look at it, that is like what a lot of people, will understand better, where you have the seed and the soil. No matter how fertile the soil is, without the right seed, nothing grows. So if you look at it, anatomy of an accident is the proper conditions are there. The person who has the quote-unquote bad karma or the bad luck just happened to be in that place, and by the time you marry the bad seed and the fertile soil, you come together, you have an accident. So this is very, very interesting to understand, because a lot of times people just look at the conditions, they don't look at the karmic causes. For example, a lot of people say, they do anything and everything to make sure that the building is safe. You have building codes, you have fire codes, all that is taken care of. That's good. But you also have to take into account, if a person who has bad karma is in there, even if the building codes are good, if the person has bad karma, there's still some possibility that something bad would happen. Just a small possibility, because the conditions are not ripe, if you will. The soil is not that fertile. But let's say the building gets old and nobody comes to inspect it, the building codes are not being inspected, they're not being upgraded or updated. The same person, the person still carries the seed. So if the seed is there and the conditions start to change, and guess what? By the time the two things together, you have a fire. So this is just to give us an idea. What Lord Buddha says applies not only 2,500 years ago, but to every people's lives. So let's talk about money, for example. If, let's say, a person has bad karma from the past, and the economic conditions are not good, between the two together, the person has poverty. The person goes into financial problem. If the person, let's say, has good karma, it doesn't have the negative seed, although the soil is fertile, let's say, the economic times are bad, but if a person has good karma, the economic conditions are bad, it's not ripe. So this person, even though the economic things are bad, economic conditions are bad, that person will still be okay, because the two are not present. There could be the soil, but there's no ripe seed. Okay? Now, if you have economic conditions are good, let's say, and the person has bad karma, you combine the two, well, that person is okay temporarily. The person with bad karma and the economic conditions are good, you combine the two, well, not much happened, so the person's life is just, all right, nothing happened. Now, the interesting part is this, and we will cover this a little more. If there is good economic times, all right, and the person has good karma, you combine the two, the person takes off. Being in the right place at the right time. You could be the next Bill Gates. You could be the next person who started Google. Facebook or whatever, because the economic conditions are right, you have the right seed. You combine the two, super prosperity. So that gives us an idea that this thing can go either way. It's just like in pranic healing. People always says, well, what is more important? Proper hygiene, proper medical health, or is it having a clean aura and clean chakras? As Master Cho always says, disease has an internal cause and an external cause. So internal cause, external cause. The external cause would be what? Hygiene, proper medical care, proper medical environment, a good hospital, so on and so on. But that person, the internal conditions is divided into two. The internal conditions could be one, how clean the aura and the chakras are, and number two, if the person has good karma or bad karma. So if you have a person who has good karma and the conditions are not so good, that person will have weakened health. Weakened just a little bit. But they will pull through, everything will be fine. But if the person has bad karma and you have the medical conditions, the external conditions are not good, there's bacteria, there's germs, there's, because of bad hygiene, between the two, you have a severe ailment. Okay? That explains why you have people who have good hearts, they really want to go out and help people. Like Mother Teresa and a lot of the sisters, a lot of the social workers, they expose themselves to severe medical conditions. In other words, the bad hygiene, a lot of ailments, a lot of people who have sicknesses around. But how come they don't get sick? Ultimately, it catches up because everybody has certain negative karma to release. But because of what they're doing and they have the good karma that they have, they can continue working with them and not get sick. And you have people who live in very, very hygienic places. They eat good food, organic food, they have clean water, they have all the proper conditions, yet they're sick. So these two have to be balanced. Ideally, you want to have a person to have good karma, and a person has good hygiene, proper medical care, good vitamins, so on and so on. When you put the two together, you have good health. That's what you strive for. Okay? So I hope this gives you a little idea how this can be done. Now, these karmic seeds are very interesting. These karmic seeds are from the past, but we never explained how far in the past. This could be in the past as in a few weeks, a few days, 50 years, 100 years, could be several lifetimes ago. Since the karma does not go with the physical body, the karma goes with the soul, so this soul carries on this karma lifetime after lifetime. It's just like if you win the lottery, even if you move to another country, even if you move to another state, you own that money. Just like when you create some debt, let's say you charge of a credit card, whatever that debt is, by moving to another state or another country, technically you still owe the debt. So the residence does not determine whether you owe something or you own something. So the residence, the physical body that your soul is using at this moment, is just the vehicle, but it does not own the debt or it does not own the profit. So as the soul goes from lifetime after lifetime, as it has different residences, it carries the karma with it, the good and not so good. So now, here's the good news. In other traditions, they just say, oh well, that's fate, what do you do? That's where the teachings come in. You see, with Master Cho, he said the law of karma helps you create and navigate your future. It helps you create and navigate your future. What exactly does that mean? The seed can influence the soil. In other words, with a person with tremendous good karma could to a certain extent influence and change the conditions. So this is where the golden rule comes in. Now, there's actually two golden rules. There's the positive golden rule, which is do unto others as you want them done unto you. And there's the negative golden rule that says, do not unto others as you don't want them done unto you. So the negative golden rule is what's taught in the Old Testament. Thou shalt not steal. Thou shalt not kill. Not. Don't do this, don't do that. It's a technology on how to use the law of karma to abstain from generating negative karma. Let's do it again. It's the technology the negative golden rule is the technology or the technique on how to use the law of karma so that you do not generate bad karma. The positive golden rule, on the other hand, is the technology or the technique on how to get what you want, how to plant the right seeds so you'll get the right harvest. That's a positive golden rule. So the way Master Cho says is, although there's this law of karma, the law of cause and effect, your soul goes through life or lives in a certain pattern. But by generating good karma and abstaining as much as possible from any negative karma, you are able to create and steer and navigate through different lifetimes. So let's just make it simple. This is not part of this this talk tonight. We'll go through that. Some of you have joined us in the esoteric study groups. We'll elaborate. But for now, the whole idea is something like this. If you want to be loved, you have to first show love to people. You cannot sit there and just be quiet, don't talk to anyone, and just expect people to come to you and hug you and talk to you. I'm sure it could happen, but the chances are very small compared to if you went out and actually talk to people, care about people, so there will be reciprocation. Same thing with prosperity. You've heard this so many times already, but for some reason, a lot of us it doesn't sink in. In order to be prosperous, in order for your life to change, you have to plant good seeds. Number one, you abstain from planting negative seeds. So don't steal. Don't take things that are not yours. By stealing, even though the person you stole from does not know at that time, there's a karmic record. There's a karmic debt right there. So in the future, you have to pay for it 10 times. It's not a good investment. It's just like when you plant an apple seed, it does not come back one apple, it comes back an apple tree. There's always this multiplying effect every time you plant into the soil. So same thing, whatever we do, good or bad, also comes back multiplied. So stealing is a very bad investment. You might think you got away with it. You might have to pay for it back 10 times. It doesn't make sense. Now the good news is, the same rule, the same law, it's great for investing good karma. So when you do something good, it comes back also at least 10 times. And the nice thing about it has a great compounding effect. So when you give money to charity, when you tithe, it comes back many, many times. You say, well, I don't see it coming yet. That's exactly the point. You see, remember you are the soul, you're not the body. So it is not always easy to predict when things mature. It's just like when you put the seed on the soil, it's not always easy to predict when you will get a harvest. But that doesn't mean that since you don't know, you stop. You say, some people say, well, I don't see any effect, so I'll just do whatever is good or comfortable with me. I'll take what's not mine. That's the easy way to do it. Why should I give money that I earn work so hard to earn, that I work so hard to earn? You see, people use that mentality. Just because they don't know it, they think that if you don't do anything about it, everything will be just okay. Now, since ancient times, this has been proven in many, many religions. Whatever you give, so shall you receive. So if you already know that, why don't we plant the right seeds so we'll have a good future? Okay? So in the future talks, we'll go through this in more detail. We'll talk about it in relationships, we'll talk about it in money, we'll talk about spirituality, we'll talk about it in health. But this just to give you an idea about the Buddhist tradition of cause and conditions. And if you take it one step further, this cause and conditions is already there, but by using the positive and negative golden rule, you can actually navigate your future. All right?